It kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players, the tournament champions into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Up, bowlers, welcome to Down Lane Podcast. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia.
Here on time today.
It's pronounced Scaccia.
Tonight, we got a lot to talk about. U.S. Open is
In full swing.
Well underway. And we got some stuff to talk about that. Standings, lane patterns are super hot topic today.
Lane patterns are a hot topic in today's world. Really, just today?
Well, for this tournament specifically.
Very cool. Very cool.
Then we're also going to talk about. We touched on it last week. A little bit of high school bowling.
2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks ago? Oh yeah, we had Verity on last week.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was a great show. You missed half of it.
Really,
right,
guys?
Austin? Uh-oh. It's all right. We still got it under recording.
Can people hear us?
Yeah, absolutely. So something else we're going to talk about is the lane patterns that the New York State sectionals for high school bowling and high school bowling state tournament are using, which got me a little fired up this week.
Yeah, no, it seems nothing new for you. It seems it comes out and then there's a whole rage on Facebook and things and places. And, it's just completely normal for me to see that. I ignore it. I scroll past because I know how Kyle is.
Welcome Joel and Stefanos into the chat.
Joel's from Reno.
Joel's from Reno?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look at that. And Stefanos from Philly.
Eagles, E-L-G-E-S, Eagles. Man, I mean, can you believe that your mayor can't even spell?
Oh, is that the mayor?
That's like the mayor
Oh, my God.
Philadelphia. I mean,
You better be careful. Those guys in Philly get wild.
yeah, they do. I just, I think it's a little silly. Eagles is a pretty simple word. She couldn't spell it right. It was, it is what it is.
Yeah. So don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Lots of good ratings bumps in the last couple of weeks. So
because you're so controversial. Controversial.
Is that what the thing is? So appreciate you guys sharing with your friends and checking us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can also email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. And if you can't watch live, you can always listen via your favorite podcast service, Apple, iTunes,
all the goods,
all the stream. No, what's the green one? What's the one with the green thing? What's that one? Spotify. That's the one. That's the popular one.
I didn't know we were on Spotify.
If there is a podcast service, we are on it. Just understand that fully. What's up, Paul? Welcome to the chat. Beat the Chiefs, he says.
Stefanos has no comment to my ELGL. Yes, so that's good. I love that. We got the what are we jumping into, guy? You can ask me how my week is first.
Yeah, how was your week? You got a big tournament going on. You got a couple hundred entries, or almost a couple hundred entries, right?
We're right around 200.
Yeah. What's up, C Lance? How's it going? So that's the Baker's doubles that's here in the house.
We've got about 200 teams.
I just can't strike in this tournament.
I don't know how.
I mean, it seems like it's...
You don't know how I can't strike, or you don't know how to strike?
I don't know how you can't strike.
Sorry.
It's pretty straightforward, 6.5 to 1. I mean, it's playing a little tight. I watched my nephew bowl, two-handed, 20 million miles an hour.
is an understatement.
He sandblasts his ball to 500 before he bowls, and he continually just wrecks them. If he can make a spare, he'd be pretty good. He's getting there.
Poor Joe.
He's getting there where he's working on it, and it's good to see he's working on it. But there's quite a bit of strikes. We still got 1466 is the leader from the first shift, so they are still holding strong there. There's a bunch of 1400s. The scores are definitely gettable. It's just, is there going to be somebody who's going to be able to put it together to take the title? We've had 300 still, no clean. We've had a team that was 58 out of 59 clean.
Whoa!
But
58.
That's only 58 out of 59.
59 frames? Can't be 59 frames.
I don't know. They said 58 out of 59.
I think it was 59 out of 60.
That makes way more sense.
Well, yeah, okay. Let's say just 59 out of 60. Sure.
I think it was a 410 or something.
Yeah. So whatever it is. So it's definitely a interesting format. 1466 low to cash. I think is like 1360, 1370. So
not even close.
I'm still in there.
It's really, if you think about it, people go, oh, it's high, but it's extremely gettable. The averages are, if you want to get it, you can definitely get it. It's not like they're super hard. They're not extremely walled. I mean, they're definitely a little easier, but you still got to throw a pretty good score. 1466 is going to be our winner. It's going to be maybe 10 higher than last year. So everybody who complained about the scoring pace, it's about the same as last year, except it's a little easier to get to the 1400 number.
Nita said, I would strike more if it was a real pattern, something 25-1, giving a real challenge. We'll talk about that later.
Here we go. Yeah, so it's been pretty good.
Nick,
we're hoping to get close to about 280, 300 entries here. We missed a squad this year too because we had a league makeup. So, that's about 25 entries there. So if we had those, we'd be sitting right around 220. And then 80 is extremely gettable this weekend because it is 2 shifts on Sunday. It's the last day. So people come out of the woodwork for it. And Saturday, we should have about 25, 30. So we'll see what happens. Overall, I'm extremely happy. It's been a good ride, except for last Sunday. It's been a bad ride. But the rest of the time,
it was a heck of a day. Fun day.
For you, it was a fun day. For me, it looked like I was doing a lot of drugs and, hadn't slept in 4 or 5 days. Yeah. Just like right now.
Right. Well, that's every day.
Yeah, I like that.
You put a comb through your hair?
No, heck no. I'm losing it, so I want to keep pulling more out.
Me and Pops are coming for the lead Saturday.
Well, that'll be listen, we've said it 1,000 times, and we'll say it 1,000 times more. When there's money on the line,
nobody better than Artie Van Buren. Nobody better than Artie Van Buren.
He loves that attention star.
I'm glad he's enjoying it. My dad likes his S2. We've drilled a few of those balls.
He actually liked it?
Yeah, he said it makes the lanes too easy. And he shot 250 with it and then had to put it away because he felt bad because he was beating people so badly. So I said, yeah, all right. Whatever.
All right, sure.
Just normal jack speed.
Yep.
And then he didn't bowl good one game, so then he went and got it and bowled good again. So, he kind of, picks and chooses.
Yeah. All right, so the U.S. Open is live and underway.
You didn't ask me how my week was. You didn't ask me how I'm scoring.
I don't care about your bowling anymore. All right.
Because I'm so good.
I did not throw any numbers this week.
I did.
That's right. Anthony shot 795 with his brand new
Equinox, as Brad Miller would call it.
No way.
Swear to God.
Equinox. Did he not get the email from Storm? Like, this is the Equinox. Like, here's a video of it.
I don't know. Maybe he was joking around, but it was like it definitely wasn't Equinox. It was like a not a hard E. It was more of like an Equinox. Yeah. I laughed when I saw it. And he had Hank Boomershine there, who was like the head guy, and he's calling it Equinox. So I thought it was funny just because I'm like, I think it's Equinox. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong, but it was funny to call it that.
Well, speaking of that, Austin is working on the new Equinox review.
No, he's not.
Matt
I didn't send the video yet.
I'll work on it.
The videos have been recorded yesterday and sent to Austin for immediate review.
Immediate, like 1 p.m. tonight.
That's right.
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
1 a.m. Yeah. 1 p.m. tomorrow.
But then also last week we dropped a couple of reviews.
Level Zen 25.
Level and Zen 25, and so check those out on the YouTube channel. Matty Tuesdays, Austin Van Buren, and Anthony Scaccia all giving you reviews. So, like I said, U.S. Open underway. Andrew Anderson's been absolutely mashing them. I don't know how he's doing this block.
I'm trying to just take a look at this.
EJ had a heck of a block this block.
Did he make a?
He averaged 240
a drive
for the last 7 games.
Pattern,
he
though,
averaged 240.
The short pattern. I think the scores were a little bit higher.
This is the third round, correct?
Oh yeah.
No, it was 52 feet. 1.22 to 1.
Oh, that pattern.
Yeah.
Flat and 50 feet.
That's great.
So
32
I've
mils.
got it after yesterday. I mean,
Yeah, give us some intel.
What do you want to know?
Who's atop the standings and how's it looking?
Anderson's got
Well, it's looking pretty good for the
47
guys
pin
going
lead.
good, and it's looking pretty bad for the guys who aren't.
That's basically how this tournament goes.
Well, you got Andrew Anderson is the leader. He's got about 46 on Anthony Simonson. Interestingly enough, Simo hasn't he? Isn't this one he usually beats everybody by like 3 million?
Yeah, he kills this tournament.
Yeah.
Buttriff passed Simonson for second place.
Oh, so I'm just
you
on
must be on the wrong
yesterday's.
standings.
No, I'm on yesterday's because today is still
Yeah, they
ongoing.
should be live.
Fine,
And
Kyle.
click the third one. Yeah, see? There you go. Andrew Anderson
Not
still
everybody's done
in
yet,
first.
Kyle. So Andrew Anderson is still in first. Butturf is 513. Also, his hometown is incorrect. Let's point that out. It says
Must be
Tempe,
still on his.
Arizona. Oh wait, no,
must still be
hometown.
his mailing address.
Maybe hometown might be like where they're actually from. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because he is
Yes.
now from New York. But Sterner is up there in fifth.
Oh, look at that.
Chris Vi, Anthony Simonson, third, fourth. Well, Zach Weidman. He was on the show a few years ago during the COVID when they did the East, West, Central, South
Mhm.
kind of thing. He was up there. He did pretty good. Belmo is still sitting right around ninth. And then we've got the two-hander, the left-handed two-hander who made it through the tour trials, Cam Crow, bowling pretty good in 10th. And then we're just going to skip. That's your top 10. Your top 10 scores plus 317, which is a 213.21 average. And then our cut line is technically Kyle's boss, Jake Peters.
Yours too.
Kind of, sort of. Jake Peters is the
Jake
cut line at 24th. He's averaging 212.53. And he had a pretty decent 1790 today. For their 8 games.
Timmy Tan from Malaysia in 14th.
Wow.
Yeah,
International.
Timmy Tan. Well,
Um,
Graham Falk is up there. He's from Canada, so it's not. And our
Okay.
boy Dick
Allen?
Dick Allen's in 26th,
Nice.
tied for 25th. He's right outside the cut line. He's one pin out of
Making
the
a
cut
charge.
line. He shot 1710 today. That's a good
so
number.
What one thing that I feel like we touch on every year that
EJ Tech at 1509 today for 8
that's disgusting.
for 6.
For 6. That's
No, it's for 8. It's for 8. Excuse me.
even still.
1509 is not a 200 average, Kyle.
What? Is my math that bad?
Yeah, 8 games is 1600, bud. He's
Math-
minus 100.
Math is hard.
Minus 100 today.
Just for
and,
today. Yesterday he averaged 240, right?
No,
Yeah.
today he averaged 240. Left to right. Left to right is day 1, day 2, day 3. So all
you,
the way
you
to the
looked at
right.
the wrong squad. Stop giving me bad information.
Oh,
Crying out loud. These people
Day 3, he
Want-
shot 1871.
Oh.
right
Oh,
information.
they've got a. That's all.
1871.
Yeah, that's a horrible way to put that on there. Why would they do it like this? There's look, it's over
'Cause-
there. I
'cause
didn't see that.
Americans read left to right. So,
Yeah, but why would you put it underneath the total pinfall to the right of the total pinfall?
probably because there's
because
only
they
so
gotta
much
fit it
space
all
on
in.
there.
Yeah.
You couldn't make a better.
Who are you talking to again?
I guess I'm preaching the choir here, but
So anyway, one thing
they
that
literally have day 3 underneath the total
good?
pinfall number. No, I'm not good.
so one thing that we seem to talk about every year is like how some different people tend to do better in like
the
this and the
USBC.
Masters. I think Andrew Anderson's one of those guys.
Mhm.
Simo's good all the way around.
Jason Sterner.
Sterner, however,
He's very good on the USB-C stuff. Not saying he's not good, but
he's
he's
obviously
always, the Masters, the U.S. Open. You're used to seeing his name up there on
Mm-hmm.
the USB-C stuff.
good. And the PBA tournaments. He seems to. He's around the.
We're
cut,
not going to say
you know?
we're not going to say struggle, but he's not exactly the most.
We don't get to
He's
see
not
it.
up as high as he normally is for the USB-C events, which is interesting. John Janowitz is in 11th too.
Which is incredible.
Normal
The only
for
guy
him.
to shoot 300 so far. If it hasn't updated any differently.
First of all,
Um,
Taylor, I read ball motion correctly. Matt Fizzone is the one who reads it incorrectly. Okay, let's get that straight.
Taylor in the chat. Taylor Leclerc. What's up? Zach is in the chat now.
But do you see this? Has anybody else looked? This is how do you put under total pinfall day 3?
See, people that have looked at it more than once get it.
Yeah, I
if
looked at
If your first time wasn't now, you would know that it was how it was laid out.
Yeah, it's just silly the way it's laid out.
Kevin
Silly.
McCune's up there.
Like you couldn't do a better job.
So, all right.
Sorry,
So
Kyle.
tomorrow,
What's tomorrow?
when they start match play,
Mhm.
they're bowling on that 4th pattern.
Yes.
So we're used to the flats, and we're used to the.
Would you like me to throw it up on the screen for you?
Sure, yeah, bring it up. So I've heard this referred to as the Tetris pattern, the crosswalk pattern.
Is that what people are calling
the
it?
ladder pattern.
How about the pattern that's impossible to really put down? Huh? Remember anything about that?
Where's your ball gonna hook?
Honestly, I have no idea. It's gonna hook 3
And
times.
how many times?
Or 4 times maybe. But yeah, this pattern is absolutely insane. And I know a lot of people argue like we shouldn't even be having to talk about the patterns. But apparently this day and age, this is what we're at. We're talking about the lane patterns instead of the bowling. The bowlers absolutely crushing them.
I just think it's a little silly because nobody talks about what how the stadium is where they're playing the Super Bowl next weekend.
Yeah.
Or how the condition, how the turf
that's
is.
not true
Are you going to talk
because
about the turf?
some places are grass, some places are turf.
Let me ask you
Some
a question.
places are open, and then never for the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you a
But some
question.
places are open,
Are
some
they
places are
talking about it
closed.
for the Super Bowl? No.
I think if it was natural grass, they would be.
No, they wouldn't because all the players want natural grass.
I probably yes, because there's less injuries.
Exactly.
It's better for you.
But nobody talks about, I wonder if the wind's going to be blowing east to west today. No.
They would if the Bills made it.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, it could be. Nobody's going to talk about the outside factors. I'm not a fan of the silliness that is his. And just to be completely clear, I don't believe I made Kyle check it because I can't read.
Oh, it's on my phone.
The new lane machine still can't do exactly what this is asking it to do because you can't change the pump setting 20 points in that short of a distance. So technically, this is not even possible to put out.
On the screen, it's saying pump multi.
No, it's multi, but that means it's multiple. So on load 5 to 6, it's 60-40. That is not possible. You can't drop the PSI, or I'm going to call it the PSI because it sounds a little easier for people to understand.
Sure.
You can't drop the pump from 60 to 40 in how far is that? You can't drop it to the time you load from 22 feet to 22 feet. It's impossible. Or 18 feet to 18 feet.
Right.
It doesn't have time to drop.
Right. Or what? Yeah. Drop is probably a little easier. Increasing the pressure is probably a lot harder because you've got, however many inches between the pump and the oil head. So once the pump revs up to get to 60, it's probably already a couple feet down the lane, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, by the time it actually gets to where it's supposed to be, it's then at the right number.
Joey G's saying they talk about the refs in football.
Yeah, I thought about that too for a while, but I will say that in this case, there are no referees in bowling because the foul lights don't get turned on. So,
well, on the TV show, there is a line judge.
Okay, yeah, but I'm assuming that the refs are the refs because they're actually in the game. You can talk about them because I think it's it's a direct impact while they're on the field, and it's a different sport. But if you're talking about like environment to play on, because this is our environment, what we're playing on is the environment. That to me would be more of a stadium or more of where you're playing, and nobody talks about that.
Right.
Nobody in the Super Bowl. Nobody says, they're playing in SoFi Stadium. Oh, that place is really good for passing. Well, they're indoor, Chuck. Yeah. Just like half the other fields now that are half covered. So I think it's we can talk about the refs. I guess that's kind of an argument, but I think this is more of an environment. So I think that's where I differ on that. Because I thought about that for a while. Because that's my honest take. I think it's ridiculous. But the machine can't do that. Kyle looked at it. He said it wasn't extremely clear, but typically you can't drop it and increase it that quickly because if you're only oiling 4 feet, it's impossible.
Yeah, the Kaggle website doesn't say anything specific about its what it's physically able to do, but it does say the Atlas Pro is improved versus the let's say Flex. So like it says that the pump is improved or has been changed. It also said something about something you guys might like, quick buffer changes. Like it doesn't take a lot of tools. It's like switch in the buffer, switch it out. Anyway, that's completely unrelated.
They say it's very easy to work on, but you got to take off 17 covers to get to the inside of the lane machine. Now that's real quick. It takes you longer to get to the inside of the lane machine than it is to take the parts off or take the plastic covers off. Hence why we don't have the plastic cover on sometimes.
Looks like a NASCAR car with the hood off.
Yeah, it's just like, you pay so much money for it, and then the design is like, you need 17 tools to take this cover off and 40 minutes to fix a 3-minute job, 5-minute job.
Right. Which is basically everything now. Cars, computers.
Yeah, and it's a piece of plastic. It's cool. But it's not really supposed to be, this really shouldn't be able to be put out. Also, a very good smart man in bowling said this is also not possible on Facebook. The 8270 King, Jerry Kessler. I don't know, some guys like him, some guys don't, but he said this is also not possible. And then he literally posted the link right into the Facebook chat. Like, you can't do this. So
Well, the other thing that I noticed, and maybe the new Atlas is able to do this, but so you've got two almost, I'll call them gutters in the middle of the.
no, so I looked at this. You can do this.
You can start and stop the stream at will.
Let me see. Hold on. I just got to read it quickly. I want to see the one for 8 to 8. It's kind of confusing because it says there's no oil. 8 to 8 is on the inside. Yeah. So 8 to 8, 5 to 2. Where's the ones where it wouldn't be? I'm just trying to see exactly where it is.
It's right here. It's like 6 and 7. 6 and
yeah,
7.
but no. But see, it says two left, 2 right, or two left, 5 left.
Oh, on one way it's going.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
stopping on the left side, and on the way back it's stopping on the right side, or vice versa.
It's
Whatever.
not really stopping, but
Yeah, but the oil stream is stopping.
they're doing it so close together that it ends up looking like this. Yes.
Got it.
So
Basically, what my thought was, just so it's clear, is you see a lot of breaks in the pattern, or you see 2 breaks in the pattern that go all the way down 6 and 7. My thought was, well, you can't start, stop.
The oil head just moves one way.
Stream.
It just moves one way.
Yeah, it goes left to right and right to left.
Yes. So you can't
It's like a printer.
Yeah. So it has to
Old
go all
school
the way
printer.
back. So what they're doing is they're oiling from the 2 board on the left to the 5 board on the left, and then it goes for like, let's say 3 feet, and then it oils from 5 on the right to, or 2 on the right to 5 on the right. So
But then how is it saying that there's no oil there in those strips? Because you would still have to cover those boards at some point to get the outside oil.
No, because you're not starting on the left. You're starting on the right. 5 right, 2 right, 2 left, 5 left. So you're not oiling any farther in, any more on the lane to the right or the left.
Yeah, but I'm saying on outside of 5, there's oil. So I'm just wondering how it gets.
Yeah, because they did it in the beginning of the pattern. So they're loading the brush up in the front, and then it is technically going all the way across. So there is a light buff where there is no oil applied,
Right.
but there is oil applied there. So there's a little bit, but it's a very light film. And then when they oil it, they're oiling it on the left only, and then the right is not oiled, and then they oil it on the right only, and then the left is not oiled. So that's how you get those patches there.
Oh, and they're offset.
They're offset because you
Okay,
can't do them
I
at the same
see
time.
now.
So it's not starting and stopping. It's literally done on the left. Okay, now I'm going to do it right up here on the right, and then I'm going to do it up here on the left. That's what it looks like. I'm trying to decipher it
That's what it looks like to me as
the
well.
best I can.
They're
but-
doing
confusing.
staggers on the way down and then
Yeah.
staggering the opposite
So
way on the way back.
there really is no oil from, it looks 6 to 7 because, I mean, there has to be oil 6 to 7
Because there's a 2 to 2. There's 2 to 2. Oh,
No,
no,
there's
that's
not.
2 to 5.
That's 2 to 5 and 5
Sorry.
to 2. So yeah, so they actually don't oil any. That must be good for those boards.
I mean, it's almost like. All right, so I'm gonna imagine what it would be like bowling.
You're
on
gonna
this.
you're gonna see, I believe, 95% of the guys you're gonna have to play inside. I don't think you can play outside.
I don't think it's possible. But what? So what?
What do you mean?
what-
It's not impossible.
I don't think it's possible to play right.
Oh wait, is there no oil here either? It's very confusing with the chart here.
It's got to be buffed out some way.
Yeah, how about you just throw a plastic ball down the middle? That's your best option.
I was gonna say that. I think you're gonna see plastic.
I'll just
What-
be. This
what
is
I'm
just
saying
this is a joke.
it could almost be like a. I don't want to say it's going to be like a house shot. That's not the case. But what I'm envisioning is like
House
What-
shot.
when you throw it to the right on a house shot, it bounces, right? But if you jump over that friction, sometimes it'll hang out there or it'll die and not be able to make it back. So like I'm wondering, like, are you trying to throw it to that dry so that it picks up and goes? And then if you miss too much right, and then it's just going to sail on you.
Which
Sail. How's it gonna? Oh,
which
you're
dry
regulated.
which dry are you talking about?
It's just
Just the 6 and 7 board. Yeah, but the other thing is then you have 3 speed bumps.
60% is dry.
But then you have 3 speed bumps on the lane to stop the ball from moving.
I watched Justin Bones' video, and he was playing a little to the left, so
He's
it
not
makes sense.
bowling out there?
I think he is.
So how did he bowl? They haven't
Oh,
bowled
I
on
don't
this
know.
yet. Oh, practice. Unless it was a
Yeah,
practice
it was
video.
probably practice squad.
Okay.
And the ball hooked 3 times and ended up at the 10 pin.
That
Yeah.
doesn't
He's a
sound
lesson.
I would assume you'd have to play this pattern inside if you can.
What's the
find
volume on it?
20 something else.
22.7.
I'm assuming you'd have to, but that's not accurate
Why is that?
because you can't. The
with
machine
the
can't
pumps.
change the pump, so it's not accurate.
Hmm.
I don't know if you're going to be able to play inside in this pattern or not. I mean, I think you're going to see the guys lofted about 40 feet down the lane.
Yep.
It'll be a lot of dry. Austin just said that Justin Bone hit the 10 pin trying to throw a strike.
Yeah, like hooked twice or something.
It hooked like 3 times.
At
Every
least.
time it came out of the oil, it went farther right.
Yeah, I did also see the ex PBA lane man like literally right on Facebook. Disgraceful.
I just don't understand what their goal is here.
There is no goal.
You want your ball to hook 3 times?
The
in a
goal
lane?
is to knock down the scores a little bit.
I guess, but what?
knock down the scores.
How are you going to?
I'm not going to give my.
How are you
full
going to
opinion.
promote shot making?
You don't. This isn't real.
I don't get it.
Well, if we ask Chad Murphy, he'll tell us.
I'm sure you will. Exactly what's going on.
I think I'm going to email him.
All right, go ahead.
What is your purpose behind this pattern?
Are you excited for the Masters now?
No,
And the
because
best-
I might see something like this.
The
And this is just ridiculous.
The best part, I don't know if you've heard this yet, Anthony, but the rest of the tournament is on this pattern.
Yeah, the whole match.
Yeah,
play,
I know.
everything.
Yeah, I know. This really promotes good bowling.
The show is going to be great.
Oh my God, yeah, it's going to be on TV.
So
Two
Kyle-
times. It's
so
going to be
Kyle, I
on
have a
TV
question.
Saturday
I
and
have a-
Sunday.
I have a legitimate
Go
question
ahead.
for you.
What's your legitimate question for me?
You think string pings are a joke?
True.
Have you seen this pattern? So pick your poison here. Would you rather have string pins that knock the scores down a little bit because the pin carry is not as good and because it's looks funny, or would you rather have this monstrosity that they
Well,
have built?
I don't think those are my reasons for string pins, by the way.
Okay, so which is better, this or string pins?
Which is better?
Which is better for the
They're
game?
both terrible.
That's not my
string
question.
pins are better for the game.
My question is, would you rather have this or string pins? Wait, did you show people the pattern on the?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, you showed
Okay.
it on the screen.
Would you rather have this or string pins, Kyle? What? Pick your poison now.
I guess I'd rather have that.
Are you serious?
Halo.
I'd rather have the pins free falling. The pins should not be attached to anything. And we know that.
Yeah,
we
but
know
what do
my
you-
opinion.
What are you going to do with that pattern?
But this doesn't even promote anything. This is like, hey, grab your plastic ball.
It's literally.
Yeah. and
Are
did
you
see
going to
the-
carry the 10 pin or are
Did you
you
see
going to
the?
cross?
Did you see the
don't
video of
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
the 710 being made, and the guy never even sent the 7-pin right. He threw it at the 7-pin.
Hey.
And
yeah, but it was on recreation mode.
How do you know?
I
was
don't
a
know.
leak.
I just said that just because I just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I mean, maybe they're gonna whack this. Maybe they're gonna be easy.
Dan Babcock says he wants both at once.
That would be awesome. Well, let's do it. But yeah, I don't know. This is it's not a possible pattern to actually put out from what the graph shows, from what I understand, and from what they've put out. So maybe they'd improve the pump, but I don't think the pump
Unless
can
they
change
have a
that quickly.
modified machine.
If you think about it, it says, just so the people at home know, they're going to oil the 5 board on the right, the 2 board on the right.
Thanks, Paul. Do both, and let's call it Chuck E. Cheese Open Championship.
That'd be what Kyle will be there.
You think they'll sponsor?
They're,
Yeah, I mean, at least somebody would.
they're oiling the 8 board to 8 board. Okay, so that's kind of normal. 8 left, 8 right at 40 mics. It stops at 22 feet. And then at 22 feet, as soon as it stops, it oils 2 on the left to 5 on the left, but with a 60 pump. So it went up 20, we're going to call it 20 clicks.
Can the machine stop and wait for the pump to get up to pressure?
No, because then I'm assuming that the brush is going to sit funny on the machine.
That's right.
And then you're
I
going to
forgot
take
about that.
37 hours.
Yep.
So I'm assuming, that's impossible to change immediately. So
It's 14 and 16 pretty average speed, or is that slow?
very slow. 14
So-
inches per second.
Right. So that
it's-
could be
that's slow.
that could be part of the way that they make it up too. Is the machine's going so slow that maybe the pump
The pump
the
catches.
pump
Maybe
hits
the brush,
it before
the brush is
the
doing all
pump
the
can't
work.
beat it. 22 feet, 22 feet.
Oh, no, I'm saying
It's the same
like,
amount. Yeah, it'll start earlier. It'll be able to get it earlier,
Right.
but it's still, if you're oiling
It may
at
not
22
actually-
feet, if you're oiling here and then you're oiling here, the pump can't go to 60 in this click.
Apparently, according to Dan Hoagland, said that the pattern would not play as hard as it looks.
I don't know if he's even a bowler. Usually lane pattern guys are pretend bowlers, I think.
Wow. Is it kind of like if you can't do teach?
That is quite the claim.
if you can't do oil lanes?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, do you ever see the guys who oil lanes bowl? You ever see him bowl ever, besides John Janowitz?
I'm
You ever
sure-
seen the Hogan guy bowl?
No, I don't follow Hogan.
You ever seen anybody? I listen. That might be a
Well,
really
you're
harsh
saying they got to
claim,
be
but
pro?
I've dealt with oil pattern guys before and listened to them talk, and then I watch them bowl, and I'm like, yeah, well, makes sense.
That is a very bold statement.
That's just the truth.
Anthony will not be bowling in the Masters this year.
I
or,
really
he's,
don't
or
care.
he's immediately taking a $100 fine.
That's fine. Find me $100. I'm not going to pay it. I just think it's silly. So that's my honest opinion. It's silly, and if you have to put this out to try to keep a scoring pace low, and if he's saying the scoring pace is going to be 215, 220, he did a pretty bad job. Because then if you want them to be lower, everybody's averaging 210. Now you're telling me that this pattern is going to be 215. Mike Sabatini was a pattern guy on the PBA Tour, and he was a bowler. I have no idea who that is. So the people I know.
It doesn't exist unless Anthony knows it.
Well, I don't know all the PBA guys. I don't really ever pay attention. But sure, if he's an older guy, sure. Maybe if he was a good bowler, I hope that he was great. But the people that I know who design patterns, typically,
listen,
they're not
they're
my favorite.
all bowlers. I don't think that's what Anthony's saying. They're not that they don't bowl. That, they aren't well known as bowlers. That's what I think you're saying.
I have no idea anybody who, besides John Janowitz.
Right.
But he doesn't make silly patterns. I don't know. I'm not saying that they're not bowlers. I just don't think that I think usually when you get into the oil pattern guy mindset, you get way lost in this rabbit hole of I've got to be the first one to be on the land on the moon. And then you start doing weird stuff with your patterns.
Well, it's been like 4 years now, right? 3 or 4 years that they've been
using this guy, maybe longer.
Using these weird patterns. I think starting with the Masters, that was the first one.
Well, the PWBA is always usually weird too.
You think so? Pretty standard builds.
Not usually. Usually they got some weird thing. It's only forward oil. It's only this. It's got a weird eye or this, that, there. I don't know.
Well, the eye's been used across the board. It's been used in U.S. Open and
okay.
Whatever else.
Sure, Kyle. I'll take back my comment of they're not bowlers. I just don't think that they're usually the pattern guys get stuck in their one-track mind of I'm an oil pattern guy because I'm not an oil pattern guy.
Let's see how we can mess with them the most.
I'm not really an oil pattern guy. I've tried to build some patterns, but I'm not thinking like this. And then you see guys like that and you never see them bowl though. Like, do they test the pattern? Do they actually bowl on the pattern to see what it is? Or do they just get feedback from other people? Or do you even test your pattern?
Well, as we learned when we went to the Masters, they do test the pattern and then make a decision the week before or something to that effect.
No, the day before.
Are you sure it's the day before?
Yeah, they literally said we bowl on it, and then the day before we're out there, we oil them to see how they play on the lanes to make sure that they play the way we want.
Yeah,
we have 4 or 5 of them, and then we pick our favorite one.
Right. I don't know who the bowlers are, if it's just the lane man or if it's a select group of, USBC people. But yes, that's what we learned that they do. As far as the U.S. Open goes, though, they've got 4 different patterns. I don't know if you're choosing 8 and then you got to pick the best 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they would just have a few and then see what the scoring pace is like on them or what they think the scoring pace will be. And then how the lane surface is with each pattern and then say, well, this one matches up to lane surface better. It's going to give us a better pace.
No, I actually agree with Joey here. Should have oiled by hand. Spray bottle.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have been as weird as this. But I don't understand how it's allowed to be put in if you can't actually so we don't have the exact, but like from what they've said, it's impossible to do, right? So why is it even allowed to be put in if it's not actually not an accurate representation of what's on the lane?
Well, the machine's going to accept it as far as allowing it from the USBC standpoint.
That's what I mean. Like from the higher up. But that tells me that if they did that, do they actually know what the lane machine's capable of, or do they just trust that this guy is doing and he knows?
Well, that's the question. How many people in the USBC office are very familiar with pattern building and knowing the capabilities of the machine? Not pattern building,
not pattern, but like what the machines are capable of, what they're actually doing.
Who is going to question him and say, is the machine actually capable of doing this? That's what I'm asking.
They probably didn't look.
I'm sure that they knew the patterns. Like the tournament director has to know what the pattern is.
Yeah, but the tournament director doesn't have to care what the pattern is. If the USBC appoints guy A to do this job and guy B to do this job, guy B directs the tournament, guy A makes the pattern. He doesn't care what the pattern is. His job is to direct it. His job.
So you think they're just giving full authority to decide the pattern?
I don't know if they're doing. Yeah, I think
they gotta have checks and balances.
Has to be, right?
So this was in their checks and balance. You're telling me
I'm gonna take a guess that
you're telling me that this was in their checks and balance, and they're like,
"This looks good, right?"
Yep, love it.
Stop, hook.
What happens if they light it up tomorrow? Good.
Then they light it up.
Okay, if they light it up, then why? Like, my question is, if they light it up and their scoring pace is 215 to 220, why do you have to put this out and make this like, look at what we're bowling on, look at what this guy made? No, just put something out that's going to be 215 to 220 and make it fairly normal and let the players bowl on it to be the storyline versus, hey, look what I made to see what these guys can bowl on. Man, I can't wait to watch them. I can't wait to see what that's just silly to me. I don't understand.
Here's the question. should KO come out and say whether it's actually possible or not?
Good
no,
question.
absolutely not, because then they're gonna discredit the whole organization, which
No,
is
it's not
Yeah,
actually.
but
It's not
you're
even the
defending,
organization.
you're defending your product. At
Right.
that point.
They're going to say, yes, our product is capable of doing this,
Or
or
no, technically it's not capable, but they
right,
tried
but
it.
Either
the
way,
but
do
the
you wanna
machine
come out with
accepted it, and it's putting it out.
no. Tom Clark, I don't believe has
Well,
anything to do with
yeah,
this
Tom
because
Clark
it's
is-
USB-C.
Yeah, no, 100% not.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I mean, I'm just I think I talked to my father about it too. We've talked about it a few times where, I listen to the lane pattern guys talk, and then I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I don't ever want the ball to do when I bowl. So I don't know why that they would do that. Because they had a pattern one time where they called it, I'm not going to point out names, but they put more like this pattern for the US Open #1, I think it was, where they actually they oiled thinner. Yeah, so they oiled
The
thinner.
Starship pattern, yeah.
They oiled thinner in the front part of the lane, and then at like 10 feet, they put like a top hat on it, right? And then there's a whole second pattern. Yeah, there's like a second pattern, but I've seen people move it up more. And then I literally was like, well, when my ball hits the big top hat down lane, which it's not as far up, but just imagine it farther up. I'm like, when my ball hits that, it's going to hook in the buff and then it's going to back off because there's more oil down there. I never want to see my ball do that. Why in God's name would you ever do that? And they're like, yeah, this is a great pattern for higher scoring and this and that. And I'm like, as a bowler, I would hate to see that, because it doesn't, then I got to go around it or I got to shove it up and play the middle of the oil line. So that way I don't hit the buff and have it back off or break loose, I like to call it. So
because like, let's say you're playing second, third arrow, which is
why do you think the guys were so deep on this pattern? Because they didn't want to get out to the buff, and then you can't play the 2-2s out there because it's too deep down the pattern.
Yeah.
So all the guys were forced inside to play the body of the pattern instead. So that's why they were all forced that way. So guys, when they do that, it kind of breaks loose if you play closer to the outside typically. Now, obviously, these guys are really good, and I don't know how the lefties fared on this pattern because I didn't technically check.
And it's symmetrical too, which I think a lot of the USB-C
Matt
patterns
Russo
are
did pretty good on it. He
pretty symmetrical,
but he likes to be a little bit more in. I think I saw Jacob Butter wheeling black hammer, which is his
Not
normal.
surprising.
Spencer Robarge bowled pretty good two-hander. So the guy, he's pretty good. Michael Martell, another guy who bowls good in the USB-C events from New York. He usually bowls good in these events, and then he also had a good day. So I mean, you look at it, and the lefties did bowl pretty good. So it tells me that Martell's a little bit more of a guy who likes to go in to out. Russo likes to go in to out a little bit more.
Chris Violet led, by the way.
We're talking about lefties, Kyle.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking two-hander.
Russo's a little
bad.
bit more in to out. Butterf is a little bit more in and out. So you're talking the lefties. Robarge can kind of do a few different things.
He's right-handed.
So who am I thinking of that's left? No, Robarge is left-handed.
Robarge is right-handed.
Wait, whoa. Who am I thinking of that's left-handed? Did I see a flip video the other day of him?
I don't know. But
That's
he's
weird.
right-handed.
You're right. He is right-handed.
I know.
Who am I thinking of that's left-handed, though?
I don't know. We can't tell you that.
Looks just like him. I swear to God.
I don't know.
All these kids are wearing the same colored pants now. I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, the troop pants.
Yeah. But, okay, so we'll talk about those. And then, who's the lefty? I swear to God, he both.
All right.
Anyways,
well,
we got a few guys, and Stubler, I believe, is left-handed.
But this pattern, this isn't the
out.
worst, right?
No, this is the highest scoring one, but you talk about
I don't
the
mean by
lefties.
worst by score. I just mean worst by build. Like it's not the worst.
What do you mean?
And then
This
it's not like a crazy, weird pattern is what I'm saying. And then the next one was the
Cam Crow was in 89th, and he's a pretty straight that day. He averaged 196, and he's more of a straighter lefty, as well as Kim Bowlby, who's a little straighter. Those guys, and Dio Bernard. So you got, maybe I'm thinking about Dio. Dio's lefty. But anyways, those other lefties are a little bit straighter. And is Justin Bone the lefty?
Mhm.
Or is it Brandon Bone?
No, Justin's a lefty, isn't he? Austin's not paying attention.
He's
Yes. Also,
wait, guess what? Guess what? Justin's a lefty?
Spencer Robarge is a lefty.
I told you he was
What?
left-handed.
Am I?
Yes.
Am I?
Thank you.
Is something wrong with me?
Dude, you are throwing me off.
I wasn't going to say anything until I
Are you
looked it
sure?
up, so I was just looking it up.
That's why you
He
were
is a lefty.
throwing me off, dude. I was like, I swear to God, I saw a video of him the other day, left-handed.
Are you serious?
100% positive.
So, anyways,
Dude, I could have sworn he was right-handed.
you see the lefties
No
who are
wonder
a
why he
little bit.
does so well.
You see him looking at like Eric Jones. Some of the guys who are a little bit straighter. It looks like they struggled on this pattern for the left side. So maybe playing a little bit straighter up the lane where it's a little thinner, it probably didn't work as well, and that's why you saw all the lefties have to play really far in on that.
If you play real straight on that pattern, it's you might have mentioned this already, but it's light.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
So it starts to pick up.
And then you hit all the 2-2s.
Hits the 2-2s.
Yeah, because the pattern is actually shifted like 10, 15 feet down, let's just say.
The second portion of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to play inside to keep it in line with that body of the pattern to play it. And then you've got so much 2-2. So the lefties that were a little straighter, because Crow is dead straight. I've been watching him. He's dead straight. He likes to play closer to the gutter, it seems like. So he didn't bowl good in that pattern. So it tells me, that's another kind of pattern when we talk about guys who are making lane patterns. Now they're starting to put the pattern farther down lane. They're like, yeah, we want to see the ball, because then it does this and that. And I'm like, well, as a bowler, I don't ever want to see my ball hook and then kind of back off a left and then kind of try to finish it. The righties might like it because they can get in and wheel it and play the body of the pattern, but the lefties on that, it's not. So that's where I think I get into a different mindset. That's what most of my experience are with guys like, oh, they're trying to make a tricky pattern. They're trying to trick the guys. Fine, so be it. But then you get guys who are making kind of patterns like that, and it just, to me, it doesn't really promote much because
on top of the fact you don't need more friction on many of these places.
No,
they're so old.
Yeah, but he's shifting the pattern down, so you're I don't know. I think it's an interesting thing
between the shift down and then also the step, whatever you want to call it, the Tetris pattern or whatever.
Well, the Tetris pattern.
There's so many blank spots of well, I'll call it dry, which is not really dry, but and then so there's so much friction already on the lanes because of the ages of surfaces around here. Not just here, but in America, there's not many places that are brand new.
I just think that it's crazy.
There's plenty of friction. You don't need to add more friction.
Yeah, that's where I kind of differ with the lane pattern guys, and that's why I say they don't typically bowl, just because I don't know if they try to do it to try to like get guys to be tricked or something. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I don't typically agree with them. I think that it should just be kind of. I know that we need a little bit of variety, but
my goodness, Jack Scaccia in the chat.
Have you ever watched the Golf US Open? How they make the rough and the greens are fast. Good.
I just want to jump in quick.
I don't understand.
Landon Jordan in 17th currently. His first 3 games, 727 for round 3.
But also, isn't that the U.S. Open it's the nature of the course? I mean, I know that they add certain things occasionally just for.
I know they do work on the greens
pro
and stuff,
tournaments,
but I don't know if you can. How can you make the grass, the rough grow faster?
Yes, they actually they'll limit play. Some courses will make you use grass pads, like fake grass pads, to hit off of in preparation for the tournament.
Oh, and the tee boxes and stuff?
They limit tee boxes everywhere in the fairway.
Oh, you have to bring it with you. Pick up your ball, put it back down. Interesting.
Fine, Jack. You can play on your Tetris pattern. I just want something normal that's hard.
They'll put new bunkers in or redo the sand, fix the lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you want it to be. Yeah, but that's like a baseball field. You're making it pristine.
Yeah, but they will change things sometimes, like take a tree down or plant a tree here.
Of course, that's fine. But when you're making Tetris, when the lane machine can't do it, it's not real.
But the difference too is what you're describing, adding this or that, changing this or that. You are forcing shot making.
Yes.
When in this case,
well, we don't know. Maybe it will promote shot making
or guessing the best ball,
just throwing it as far as you can down the lane.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know.
Plastic straight at
but if Dan is right, and then the guy who made the pattern says it's going to be 215, 220 pace, I don't know why you need this. And
also, are you basing that on moving lanes, following certain bowlers?
Well, are you basing it on you bowled on it?
Right, on a pair or two.
That's what I'm saying too.
You don't have the traffic. You don't have the lane movement.
You're just bowling that's where I'm saying the lane pattern guys say, "Oh, this is what it should be, and it should be that." Well, then when we watch it, it's like, what the heck?
These guys are experts, so they know.
That's fine. I hope they bowl great on it, and I hope they whack them.
All right.
That way, the TV show is good.
Have we beaten oil patterns enough?
No. We talk about this a lot.
Bring on the one more, Kyle.
But
good. This is your.
Thank you.
This is you wanted this one.
Don't we talk about this every year with the U.S. Open? How they're silly.
Yes.
I don't mind. The other two. Well, let's just throw this in there.
Originally, they used to just be flat.
No, they are.
But
two of them were dead.
Two of them are dead.
One was literally 1-to-1.
It used to be just like a standard build.
One was 1.12 or 1.20.
37 feet, and I thought they were doing 50 feet or something.
52 feet.
Yeah. Pattern 2 and 3.
I don't want to bowl on either because I'm not good enough.
All right. So, U.S. Open, crazy patterns, got it. let's
All
talk
right, so it's
about
not done.
high school.
Here we
lane
go.
patterns.
You're gonna beat this up again, Kyle.
Well, a friend of ours showed me what the pattern was going to be for high school sectionals here in our area, section 2.
Great. Yep. Okay.
And showed me the 25-1 pattern. And for those that aren't familiar with lane patterns, that means basically it's a super house shot. Like, I don't even know what the ratio is here. Maybe even be close.
25-1. It's like the same shot.
Right. So,
It's technically like infinity.
but I'm not even discussing the lane pattern as far as build because it's a house shot. Throw it left, go straight, throw it right, hook. My question is, should you be using something like this
You ready for it?
on a sectional? Yeah, you can put it up there on the sectionals where you're trying to find who the best team is to go to states.
Exemplify the best bowlers.
Right. And then I hear, oh, states is using the same thing. Or,
Yeah,
at,
they
or at
usually-
least similar.
They usually do that, Kyle.
Well, not usually when
We
I was in
used-
high school.
When I was in high school,
Kyle,
we
you
were
went to high
bowling
school
on
in
the-
1942.
We were bowling on the red, white, and blue patterns.
Don's out in Indianapolis. Don, give us the first look on that pattern number, whatever number it is, Tetris.
4,
Do you see
number
anybody
4.
bowl on it? And give me, am I crazy in my head or what do you think? Because you're out there. Give us the first hand report. Oh, there it is. I was looking for that.
All right. So tell me, what were you just about to say?
And tell Andrew Hall
When I was in high school, we bowled on the red, white, and blue patterns. I believe they were close to like 7-1 or something,
Mhm.
somewhere in that area, 7 or 5-1.
Here it is.
We weren't even told what we were bowling on.
Didn't
Back
have
in my
patterns when
day.
Kyle bowled. Kyle, you graduated in 2004.
I know when
Okay.
I graduated. You don't have to tell me.
And I'm just telling you that I think it's, times have changed. Back
Yes,
then,
Don.
patterns weren't as available.
Okay. But you handmade the pattern, not hand sprayed. You typed it into the machine.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's the same thing.
Right. My point is,
But it wasn't as prevalent. There weren't 100 trillion of them back then, I don't believe.
yeah, it wasn't like you could design a pattern and then upload it. You literally went into the machine.
Yeah, you went to the machine.
and you went 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 5-5, 5-5,
Yeah.
7-7, like
Yeah,
that.
I know. I know
That's
how
what I'm
it's
saying,
done.
though.
Yeah, I know how it's
It
done.
wasn't pattern building. It was just let's make them harder. And so,
You don't think that there was building patterns? You don't think guys had pieces of paper written
yes,
down on
I
how to do
understand,
that?
but
I
they're
mean, it's
not
still,
not to this level where you can just plug it into the machine and run it.
Well, I mean, I know your gripe about 25-1, Kyle, and
Technology,
I know they said they should bowl on 6-1.
Yes, like 2 weeks ago you said that.
They should bowl on 6-1, but that's what they should be bowling on. And right now, they don't bowl on 6-1. So why are you going to put a pattern out where this kid comes in, okay, and he bowls in the house shot all year, and he's trying to get better, and he's in 8th grade, and now, I don't understand why he's got to bowl on a 6-1. They don't bowl on it all year long in high school. So
Mhm.
why should they be forced to bowl on it then? I think it should be 6-1. I think that would be a better option for the high schools. I think it would make it a little bit more competitive. But at the same time, you've got kids who are younger who haven't bowled on a 6-1 yet. Now you're going to throw them into the fire at sectionals and be like, hey, here you go. You haven't done this all year, and let's see what happens.
Maybe
They
I'm
should
talking about
practice. They do practice.
on real on real oil patterns.
What do
maybe-
you want them to do,
Maybe
Kyle?
you should make the lanes a little harder to, like Austin said, find the bowlers and the teams that are the best at shot making and throwing the ball, because a learning bowler shouldn't be winning sectionals.
Don Harrington, I actually thought the same thing. You got to throw it at the gutter where there's no oil, so that way it bounces off of it. But that's assuming you can get it to the right.
Yeah, I
So
said
we'll
the
have to
same
see.
thing. The gutter is going to be 5 and 6.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we had a good idea. So Don's on. He's our eyes and ears out
That's
there
right.
right now.
That's
Even
right.
though we didn't ask him to be, he is now. He's gonna
So-
message me later.
And then here's another point. Like Joey's saying, Joey D in the chat is saying, you're going to have 10 on a pair, bowling 6 games on a high friction lane surface.
Okay.
I mean, it is what it is. The lanes are going to be the lanes. They're just going to be absolutely hooking. But aside from that, we should be bowling on harder stuff. And
Sure.
what are they going to bowl on in college?
Yeah, but that's not the same thing, Kyle. This is not the same animal. This is a completely different thing.
This
Listen,
isn't
I'm going to
Saturday morning juniors. This
I'm
is
going to
high
tell you-
school bowling.
That's fine. And I'm going to tell you that I agree they should be bowling on 6-1. But in this scenario, they don't bowl on 6-1. That hasn't been implemented. So now you're going to just throw, okay, let's take a look at Enzo. Great kid. He could probably bowl on 6-1, but he's been practicing to get better all year. And now you're going to make him go there and shoot 140. And he's been like, man, now I don't want to bowl
What do
anymore.
you
I
think
could
States
do-
was like? we bowled on crap here. Then in sectionals, we bowl on a little bit tougher. And then we go to states, and they were hard.
Okay.
And what I can tell you is, well, now that it doesn't matter because they're using crap patterns anyway. But
here we go, crap patterns.
What bowling on garbage house shots does for the kids is hurt them when they go to bowl in tournaments. Then they're going to go bowl junior gold or whatever local qualifiers.
If you're bowling those, you are a little bit farther ahead. Not all these kids are going to junior gold.
We're setting them up for failure.
Okay, well, you know what? I don't see it that way, Kyle.
They think that they have hook and they think that they have hold. But when you go to bowl in a junior gold qualifier or whatever, they are going to be absolutely what's the word I'm looking for? Disheartened, whatever. They're gonna never want to bowl on that again because they never prepared for it.
Yes, but that's the other thing. They're never gonna want to bowl again. They're never gonna come in. You know, here's the other thing. Okay, well, Bone Steel said the problem is that not all the schools actually have a coach.
100%
if they had
true.
a bowl on 6-1, so that way the coaches they haven't seen it either. So let's give them, you know, if they haven't seen it before, they don't know. So now you're going to be putting even the better bowlers are going to be at a disadvantage now because even if they are good, but they're struggling a little bit because they are kids. Now your chemistry teacher's going to be like, yeah, I don't know, kid. You got another ball?
Right.
I mean, so now you're there's no coach to help these kids. Go ahead, Austin. Jump in before.
So
go ahead.
The reason I had success in sectionals was because I took the time to bowl on those types of patterns and learn how to be successful on them. And if you look at every other sport in high school sports, the people who succeed and get scholarships are the ones that go the extra mile, not just do the activity.
Sure, absolutely.
So it's the same thing with bowling. If you really want to, there's plenty of junior things that get you on harder stuff around the area. And they could be doing it if they wanted to.
Right. You've got to put the time in.
So it's not really doing a disservice to the people who aren't committed anyways.
I think he's got a very good point.
But it's doing a disservice to the kids that do want to get better and they don't bowl.
That's what I said. I meant to the people who don't care about bowling already. It's not doing them a disservice by making it.
They shouldn't be on a high school team then. Do you think kids that don't care about football are playing football?
Yes, they're on the practice squad.
Dude, I had a kid.
Where are they?
They're on the practice squad.
Right. Okay, so they're not in the game.
Yeah,
there's not enough people bowling to have a practice squad.
I literally had a kid
That's a whole other problem.
I had literally had a kid on my baseball team in college who got a scholarship to play. And he literally told me, yeah, I just, I don't really like it. And I'm like, then what are you doing here? Because I could have done it every day, right? I could have done it every day. I could have got my teeth kicked in. And I'd come back the next day so excited because I just loved it. This guy's
he
like,
had to do it. He got money to do it.
No, he was like, no, I'm transferring after this year. I don't care if our team wins or loses. So then I'm out of the mound, Kyle. Okay, this is college. This isn't high school like you're saying. This is college. And they're like, hey, we're going to put this kid in. And I looked at my coach and said, no, you're not. And I got screamed at. I'm like, and then I told him, and he's like, oh, I had no idea that this kid. And I was like, yeah, he literally said he doesn't care if we win or lose. And now you're going to put him in the game. And he's got a scholarship. And now he doesn't want to he put no extra work in. He literally went to practice, got yelled at practice, went back to his room and just did whatever. So I don't think you get out of that mindset, even in high school or wherever you go. There's still going to be, look at that guy on the PGA Tour. Damon. Everybody likes him. He's not a great player. He's got a cool caddy. He was on the golf Netflix thing. Johnny Damer, not John Daly, but
I'd have to look him up.
Look him up.
I remember who you're talking about.
He's like
he hovers around the bottom.
He hovers around the bottom
of the tour.
Drinks beer, doesn't give a crap, puts in zero effort, and just goes out, chunks it all over the place, has one good thing, and then he's like, yeah, I can't handle this. Basically just hovers around the bottom now.
Yeah.
And his caddy's like, dude, come on, man. He goes, I make money off of this guy, like I don't want to be like that. But he's also like, dude, you've got so much potential, and now you're not. So no matter what level you get to, Kyle, you are always going to have those people. So instead of
half the team shouldn't be that. It should be the
how
whole
do you know
team.
Half the team is like that?
I'm just saying the whole team should want to succeed, want to be better. I'm going to touch on.
Who says they don't want to be better though?
Well, you're saying it. You both said it. You both said that they don't want to be challenged.
Some people don't want to.
But here's the thing.
Half of them don't.
Let me give you a couple of points.
Okay.
So first of all, Joey D. He asked me if I'm ever happy.
No.
We wouldn't have a show if I was.
Okay.
Number one.
That's good.
Number two. I specifically remember because we would always practice on the house shot. We would
writing these down yet?
No, I'm grabbing points. He said I got points, so I got a razor blade and my bevel knife. Points.
So I specifically remember when our coach would tell your dad, make the lanes a little harder for the tournament or for the match.
Yeah, we do that. We did that when people asked. Yes.
Right. I'm not saying your dad wouldn't do it. I'm saying he asked your dad, make the lanes a little harder.
Yeah.
And who lost the match?
You guys did.
Exactly. Because we weren't adequately prepared for that.
Sounds like a coaching problem.
Don't get me started.
Why would you not have them practice on it and then have you go into a match? That's like saying,
no
hey,
kidding.
we're gonna
why would you bowl all year on garbage to go test your skills against better schools?
This is a great comment, Kyle, because you're doing exactly what I just said.
You
guys practiced on garbage all year, bowled your matches on something tougher. So why do these kids have to bowl on something harder at sectionals?
My opinion is they should bowl on hard stuff all of the time.
I will
Not
say,
hard. Challenge.
When I went to states and I talked to bowlers from other sections, section 10, section 11, section 9, places like that, they bowled their matches on tough shots.
Okay.
And who lost that? Who lost that tournament?
No, they won.
You're right.
By far.
Gilderland. Always. We would never win.
He was on the
states.
state team. He was on the state team.
Yeah, I was talking about the states.
Not
I know. I'm saying.
Yeah.
Out in the States.
I was on the
all-star
individual
team.
team.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
So, but section 11, section 10, section 9,
Section 2.
when I was in there, they constantly were winning, and that's because they're prepared.
Sure, absolutely. But like Kyle said, if you're going to make them harder and then you bowl bad on it, well, why are you going to make it harder when you don't practice on it? So that's my point. Why are you going to make the kids bowl on a 6-1 when they bowl on 25-1 all year?
Because there should be a standard pattern, not a standard pattern, standard
Right.
ratio.
So in that case, I agree. There should be whatever it is, and that's how it should be. But at the same time, that's not the case we get, Kyle. So we're going with what we have right here. And I don't think that you're correct on this statement or on this side of the argument.
And I also agree with Julie here that the parents don't understand the game. The kids don't understand. They don't know what they don't know is what she's
don't
saying.
know. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But I would say the majority of kids that are bowling don't know what's happening.
You don't. Yeah, okay.
So there should be, from the school standpoint, a level of expectation from the coaches, right? And if the coach doesn't know, he or she should be bringing in help.
Sure, absolutely.
They shouldn't be relying on, just like we've had that same experience at our school. The coach knew just enough to get him in trouble, where he would, he could throw the ball down the lane like a lot of guys in a league, but knew absolutely nothing about lane play or how to change bowling balls, etc.
I threw $2.99 against my coach.
So then, yeah, we're talking about
the same
that.
green ball when I.
Yes, it was the same green ball.
I don't even know what it was. All I know is that he had green ball for 30
but he
years.
still has it, probably.
So as Julie said, there is an education somewhere where they're not getting the education.
100%.
So now you're going to put somebody on something harder. You're going to put them on something harder with coaches who are not able to educate them on what to do. So now they're at even a bigger disadvantage. So even if this team is more talented in shot making and all that, they might not have the coach that is going to be able to help them down the road. So either way, it's a lose-lose. That's why they bowl on what they bowl on, is because that's what they get all year long. Now, I agree it should be a little harder, but it should be all year long, and then you should go to sectionals, and it should be the same thing you bowl in all year. Now, it's not. So in this case, how are you going to make it? How are you going to make it any better? You know what I mean? When everybody's at a disadvantage. The system is kind of a little bit broken, a little bit, and there needs to be
a lot of it.
Sure. But I'm just saying, you can't throw the kids out there if they're still trying to learn and get better when the coaches can't even help them in the same aspect. Some guys are just phys ed teachers who took the job to take the job. So now you're putting
teachers.
Sure. You're having the kids just, they don't have any experience. Now you're not giving the kids anything. So how can you help them?
What's the solution? Turn over the coaching job to actual coaches first before school employees?
Okay, just let Kyle talk about the solution, because he's probably been thinking about this for 20 years.
That's the same thing that I say every single time. Bowling should be harder, period.
Okay.
The junior program should be bowled on a 6 or 7-1, and then the kids will never know the difference, and they'll just be bowling on something a little harder, and they'll be more prepared for real bowling.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, if you don't prepare all of the kids now, they will fail or be really distraught at junior bowls.
higher success for failure.
Higher success for failure, higher chance for failure.
Yep, that's what I meant.
If you don't,
Same thing, Kyle.
If you don't prepare them now, then they won't enter the adult tournaments, like our scratch tournaments that we only get 60 or 50, 60, maybe 70 entries, right?
Yeah.
So we're setting them up for disappointment and failure if they bowl 200 average or 220 average, and then they go to their first adult tournament and absolutely trash. So they're not going to come back, or they're not going to go to junior gold qualifiers or whatever, because they know that they don't have the skills to bowl on it. And the very few ones that put in the effort is probably 1% to 2%.
But the other thing too is, now if you have a kid who doesn't have any help, I mean, their parents don't bowl, they're basically brand new. I mean, how many people seriously give lessons in the area? If you're a high school coach and getting it, what do you do? I mean, so now not only are we talking about high school, but we're talking about you want the kids to be better and bowl on this, but how many people are actually qualified to really help these kids? And if there's so many kids, and if there's only a few people that are qualified in your eyes, or however many it may be, at what point do you have to say, well, we're going to have to get more people qualified, but they don't bowl on this, so we're never going to get enough people qualified? How do you educate everybody? So that's why in this case,
and that returns back to the junior programs. And
yeah,
also,
but how many people are legitimately qualified, do you think? How much education should they have to have, or should they have to know, or how much success
honestly,
as a player?
Experience is all I care about. You don't have to take the stupid USB-C courses to teach you how to do a 5-step approach or 4-step approach.
Well, we're not
or
talking
whatever.
about that. Now
You're saying qualified. I'm saying you said how many coaches are qualified. And
how
I'm
many
saying,
coaches would be qualified
right,
in
I'm
your
saying
eyes?
it matters about your experience. We've got half a dozen coaches here on our junior program who are all pretty well experienced and do a nice job.
But now you're talking about bowling on 6-1 and getting the extra mile. Well, how many of those coaches are able to give their kids the extra mile? How many of them have time? How many of them, how many opportunities are these people going to have? I mean, I don't really know. I agree with you that it could be a bigger thing and we could make a bigger movement. But at the same time, I mean, we do the boot camp, but at the same time, how many people are legitimately going to be at that next level coaching to what you're talking about? Yeah, anybody, we got a bunch of guys who do 5-step approach, but then you talk about lane pattern, lane play, ball selection. I mean, how many people, can you really gather up? I mean, we have a few people here because we have people who are dedicated.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about just the masses of our area.
But I would say I'm not going to say every center.
Okay.
But at least
a majority.
Almost every center, you're going to have somebody there, whether it's the owner or a coach of the junior program or whatever. Somebody is going to have knowledge that is able to share it.
But now you're talking about time and effort.
Yeah.
And do they have
just like the kids put time into baseball,
but do they have
and
time?
Basketball and football?
Let's hold on. Let's go a little slower here. I just don't think that the coaching is that much better in those sports in this area.
I didn't say it was better. I'm saying the putting in the time.
Okay, putting in the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
People send their kids to baseball all year long.
But those people they're also charging $50-$60 a lesson as well. Where bowling, I don't think we necessarily have that. A lot of times, if a kid comes in, I'll just help the kid. I don't care. I just want that kid to be better off for the future. I'm not worried about the payment. I just want that kid to be better. I just gave a lesson to a two-hander last week, if you remember.
I do.
And he shot his high game ever of 260 the other day. We got him into a few new balls. He's doing well. But at the same time, how many people are going to do that? We did it at 9:00 at night on a Friday and a Wednesday. How many people have the time to do that? Then you're talking about 6-1. Your high school coaches if they're not prepared, the kids will never be prepared, no matter how many good players you have on your team, because you still need somebody to help them a little bit. And if they don't bowl it on it all year, why are you going to penalize some of the kids who maybe are pretty good, but they don't have that coach to help them? So now you're giving them an unknown environment, and they might not succeed, and that might hurt bowling and hurt those kids more than if they just bowled on something that they've bowled on more regularly.
And I'll end with this.
That was good.
However,
I didn't stutter either, huh?
I will end with this, that if they bowl more on challenging, again, I'm not trying to say make them impossible. I'm not trying to say 1-to-1. I'm saying challenging.
Just
they're still
little,
hook.
Yes.
They're still hold.
You got to have a better shot making.
This is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Is that the more experience they have on it, the more ability they will have to keep their line on or their ball on line, not spray and pray all the time. They will learn, even if it's just practicing or regularly bowling on it, they will naturally learn in their mind and in their body to be more consistent and have a better angle of attack than just spray it across the lane.
Okay.
Just from bowling on it, just the experience. That's
Absolutely.
what I'll say.
I have two things to add to this quickly. Goat Juice put in, I love helping new bowlers when bowling. Now, what an incredible story. You were never there for that, but I think Austin and I were there. Artie Van Buren, Austin's father, was in the final match of the 607 Open down in Binghamton, and he was giving a lesson to some new bowler while he was bowling in the final match.
Good.
He was
Love
walking down 5 or 6 lanes, helping the guy, coming back and throwing his shot, and he won.
And
which
Artie
was incredible.
is one of the most dedicated
yes, and excellent
bowlers,
and he'll help you
coaches.
110%.
He loves this
we
sport.
have very and I was gonna say, regardless of how much we complain or voice our opinions, we do love bowling.
100%.
We do. That's why we would
Joey,
bowl.
I know I'm always negative, but
He does love bowling.
it's because I love this game so much.
We're passionate.
Ask him that after a 140.
When did I shoot 140?
I don't remember. You've been bowling good.
I know I'm throwing it really good right
Too bad
now.
you can't
I
knock
could only
him
strike.
Too bad. Yeah. I was gonna say.
All right, guys. Thank you for chatting with us tonight. You guys were awesome. Thank you for watching.
Oh, hold on. Don,
Yes.
thank you for all the information.
Yes.
Yes.
And Don is
Eyes in the
correct.
sky.
Don is correct. If you scroll up,
We
he
need a
said,
bronze. He did put it on the screen. Yeah.
no, not even
Oh,
that.
not
It was
that one?
farther up. It
Oh.
was farther up. It said, you don't realize how good those
these
guys are.
Yeah.
On such a demanding condition. So that is how good those guys are. They are fantastic.
Also,
yeah.
how about Devin's
They're-
other bronze level coach? We
Yeah.
do have a few bronzes around here.
Yeah, there
Anyway.
you go.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. Email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. And you can always download and listen via your favorite podcast service if you can't watch live.
5-star review.
5-star review, thumbs up, heart symbol. Thank you guys for sharing our show with everyone else. What's the matter?
I was going to do something hilarious, but I decided not to do it.
So thank you to Jack Station, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes, for actually chatting with us tonight. Can you imagine that? I think that's like the
Maybe-
second time.
We should have him in here one night
I
just
know.
so he can yell at us.
What we
for
should do
our-
is we should put a poll up on Facebook and ask if everybody wants Jack Scaccia to join us in the shop because he's refused to for 5 seasons straight. So anyway,
I can't believe he's the only one to knock us down. You
I know. It's just
Nah, he has some good points, but also, he's not as he's not as smart as me.
Austin, good show tonight. Anthony,
A lot of yeses
Thank
in
you.
the chat already.
yeah. See, all right. Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan.
Jam bread.
We will see you guys next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.